I want to talk to you today a little bit about what it feels like to know you're going to do something really amazing, but you have absolutely no idea how you're going to get there. And I feel like a lot of you can relate. So my name is Alexis Fedor, and I'm the founder of a company called Artists in Business. I help artists of all disciplines create profitable businesses with and for their art. So the typical reaction I get is, ooh, that is like a terrible market. Does anybody have a birthday in the month of November? Okay, so fellow Scorpios, you know what it's like to be underestimated. And that's exactly how I feel each time. And you also know, if you've been underestimated, how important it is to have somebody in your corner rooting for you, who knows you, and really can get behind what you do. And that's the guy in my life who's always been rooting for me. So that's my father, Alex Fedor. I just want to tell you a little story about my dad. My dad's about almost 20 years older than my mother. So he was born in an immigrant family during the Depression. He grew up not knowing how to speak English for many years in school, practically failed out altogether. And at age 35, he was in a bar in Youngstown, Ohio, face down, Spack's Bar on Wilson Avenue. And his friends came in and said, "We've enrolled you in university. You just need to pick the classes now." And they put him in the car, and they took him to school. And in spite of himself, he decided to sign up for an art class because he remembered when he was in 3rd grade, he had one art class in all his 12 years of school. And that teacher came over to him and said, "Wow, you're really talented. You really have a gift." And that was the last time he got to work with an art teacher in school. So he signed up because he thought it might be easy as well. And he soon became one of the most well-known artists in the state of Ohio. And not only that, he became a high school art teacher, and he got his master's degree. And so he taught art for 35 years. And to this day, he holds the record for getting the most student scholarships to get out of the inner city of Youngstown, Ohio, and pursue careers in art. So when I told him that instead of taking advantage of the journalism scholarship I had to go to university, that I was going to study cross-cultural dance and theater with a focus on classical Indian dance, focusing on Bharatanatyam and Kathakali, and then do a creative writing minor, my dad said, "Go for it, Alexis." So I did. And then after traveling the world, performing and doing really, really amazing things, I came back and I said, you know what? There's this mentality that artists have to be starving for the rest of our lives. I even had a professor in college say to our whole technique class, "You're going to be really happy for the rest of your lives as dancers. It's the best life. You're going to be really broke, but you're going to be really happy." And every time I thought of that, my stomach just did a flip, because I just thought, that's not the way it has to be. So I had this vision that I would start a business and do really well as an artist, and then go back and help other artists do the same. And every time I would talk about it, people would be like, "Good luck. I mean, you don't know who you're dealing with, the artistic community, et cetera, et cetera." And so I decided I was going to give it a shot. I'd studied marketing for an entire year. I started a T-shirt company that helped artists from all over the world submit designs for T-shirts inspired by different charities. And we gave a portion of the profits to everything sold to the artists and to the charities. Everybody got behind this business model. They thought it was great. But within 12 months, I had to close the doors to the company. My marketing wasn't working. I invested everything I had. And I told my dad, I said, "Dad, I just lost a lot of money. and I'm in deep water over here, but I have a feeling that I'm going to make this work. And he said, go for it. So that was right around the time that I came across the Ask method. This was Ask 1.0. And I signed up for it. And it was also the time that my dad became ill. This was last year. And so I took the Ask method and I started to dabble in it. But I was also doing consulting. I had other things going on. So I didn't know really what I was doing. So I started a Facebook group of artists. And I quickly put together a course. And I gave 250 artists this course for free. And they started to get results in their businesses. And so then I said, wow. So I got another 250 in, and I sold it for $99, and they started to get results. And I said, I'm really on to something here. So I called my dad up, and I said, I think I got it figured out. And he said, go for it. So I said, you know what? I really want to work with Ryan. I really want to get into this Ask method and learn it better. So it was right around that time that I was at an event, and Ryan made the first announcement for coaching. And now Laura Phillips and I were at that same event together, and we're both very much spontaneous buyers. So we jumped up at the same time, like the moment he answered, I was running back to the back of the room to get that free time with Ryan. I stopped halfway to the back of the room because I just had a premonition that my dad might not make it. And I thought, how could I invest all this time and money if I'm going to be really distracted and if that happens? And Richard Cousins was standing in front of me, and he just looked at me, and he saw my wheels turning, and he said, just do it. So I did. And I missed that hour call with Ryan, but I got a 15-minute call instead. And on that call, I said to him, my dad is really sick. I am pressed for time. I'm traveling 2-3 times a month out of state. I need to do something simple. And for the next hour, Ryan spent time on the phone helping me figure out one Facebook ad to one live webinar to one $499 offer. And in the first 6 months of this year, I made $100,000 and more than doubled my list of 1,000 people. So I built all of this momentum, and I wanted to keep going. And in May, my father passed away. And so it was at that time that the coaching team really came into play into my life, because not only were they there to say, we're so sorry that your father passed away, but I was getting private messages from Brian Bargiel. I was getting messages from Eddie's and Nikolai to see how I was doing. What could they do to help? How can we keep you back on track? Keep in the game. I went to the Accelerator event in June, and Ryan was just about to launch the Ask method, and he said, how are you doing? And I said, I'm doing okay. And he said, just keep on going. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to keep on going. I think I want to launch my course. And I said, I think I want to do the Ask method affiliate launch. And he said, well, we'd be honored to have you. To get to offer the Ask method to my community of artists who are already getting results in their business, and to watch them take that and create an incubator situation for them to help them through it. One of them's here today, Pam. She's an incredible artist, and she's using the Ask method in her business. I ended up number 16 on the leaderboard for this affiliate launch. First time I'd ever done it, next to James Wedmore and the former vice president of Tony Robbins' company. Blew my mind. And then in September of this year, I launched my own course using the Ask method with PLF combined. And this is what happened. So in December of 2016, I had 1,200 people on my list, 0 revenue. And in November of 2017, I have 5,600 people on my list and $162,944 in revenue. The main thing here, though, is not so much this number, and not so much that I had an incredible experience in the midst of all this. But it's that I know that I have an opportunity to do this, fall apart, let it be as messy as possible until I could figure it out, in order to leave a legacy that I knew in my heart of hearts was right for me to follow. And that is irreplaceable. So, for any of you who are in that same position, I can't recommend the coaching program enough. And it is with my great honor right now to introduce to you my friend and mentor, Mr. Ryan Levesque.